Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumed Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Man, the sun's going down right now. I feel like it's getting a little bit dark. I started my video a little bit late today. But yeah, today I want to talk about Stoicism, alright? So, I believe a lot of people have misconceptions with Stoic philosophy. A lot of people think that it's being emotionless. And I would actually argue and tell you that it's not really about being emotionless. It's about responding appropriately and having a solid foundation wherein which your emotions can reside. If you have a foundation and a solid structure where your emotions can regulate themselves, it makes Stoicism that much more powerful as a philosophy, and choosing it as a way to live forward and into our lives. I believe that Stoicism is important now more than ever, and it's a concept from ancient Greece, but also it's moved into ancient Rome, and it stood the test of time. That's what I really love about it. It talks about calmness, it talks about presence, it talks about wisdom and courage and truth, and I align with it. One of my favorite quotes is from Seneca: we suffer more in our imaginations than we do in our reality. And it's so true, right? We suffer more in our minds than we actually do in our lives. And it's so important for us to recognize some of the Stoic philosophy. The first thing that I would say, some things are in our control, and there's things that are outside our circle of control. So what is it that is within your control that you can actually do something and practically take steps to solve it? But the things that are outside of your control, if you use your mental resources and your energy for that, it's going to deplete you. So it's better to ignore the things that are outside your control. Now, at certain elements, we can influence people, we can persuade them, but we can't control others. All right? We can't control others. We can try to, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. Everybody makes their own decisions at the end of the day. The second thing to note is cherishing what we have now without clinging to things. Okay, a lot of us in this culture, we feel like we've got to attach to certain things, and we attach ourselves to material gain and all this kind of stuff to make us feel good and make us feel much more validated for who we are because we have these things. But what's more important is the journey, but what is also important to notice is cherishing and recognizing, like, one of the Stoic philosophies that I love is, if this was your last meal, how much more would you actually cherish it and savor it, right? If this was my last video, I want to make this video really good, right? Living with that mentality of memento mori, remember death. Remember the fact that you're going to die, which gives you much more fuel that you show up. Time is the most valuable resource, and according to the Stoics, that's what they chose to believe in, is that if you can manage your time efficiently and understand how valuable time is, like understand the time that, someone, 1 second to someone who dodged an accident knows the value of that 1 second of time. Like a mother who just lost her child in 1 month, she knows the value of that 1 month that has passed. So compared to you, other people are experiencing time differently, and also as we age older, our time distorts, and the idea of time distorts over time as well. It's really, really important to remind yourself that this life is impermanent, and I'm going to be as great and magnanimous and appreciative of this life as I can. I'm going to savor it and cherish it to the best of my ability. The next thing is using internal resources. It's like you want to become a student of life. If you stop learning and if you only seek external resources, you're not going to have the internal ones. Internal resources are like resilience, finding the sense of courage and a sense of calmness over adversity, right? Being the calm at the center of the storm, which we need now more than ever. We need Stoic philosophers to come back and understand that, we don't let the philosophies of other philosophies poison this current philosophy of Stoicism, right? Because a lot of Stoic philosophers who claim that they're Stoic are changing the way that we see Stoicism. And actually, Stoicism is not about complaining at all, but I see a lot of Stoic philosophers out there, and they're complaining. They're like, why is the world so bad, and this and that, and all this stuff, collecting gossip. That's not Stoicism. So let's kind of understand that if you're complaining and bitter and resentful and hating others, That has nothing to do with Stoicism. And every challenge exercises our virtues or values. Anything that comes into your life, the obstacle is the way, right? If you've ever heard that book by Ryan Holiday, I love it. One of my favorite books by him. I don't like his book Ego is the Enemy as much, but this book, like, it really shifted how I've been able to see things much more objectively, because I'm a very creative-minded person, and sometimes I can get oversensitive. But what Stoicism has done for me is it's given me a sense of boundaries, right? It's given me a sense of foundation and boundaries, so I know that I have control, and I can pause and take a breath before I react to something. This kind of pausing before reacting, it's not easy. It's easier said than done. But real Stoics will actually practice before they get angry. Or they'll count back from 5, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then respond. If you're reacting from lust, you see a beautiful woman, you go for a walk around the park, and then you approach. Right? Or if you see like a negative individual, he's screaming and yelling at you, before screaming and yelling back at them, you spend time, you go to the bathroom, you urinate, you wash your hands, and you come back, and then you respond back. So you're giving yourself a delay time. Instead of reacting, you're responding. And I love that idea. And sometimes we can't really suppress or repress our reactions. I understand that. We have to allow it to flow. But if we can give ourselves that delay time and create much more space and create these internal resources and strength from within, it can really help us to manage the external world in certain situations. We can't manage what happens to us, you know? Bad things don't just happen to bad people. They happen to good people too. But it's how we interpret the situations. And this is what I love about Stoicism as well, is perspective. Seeing things in a particular perspective is going to give you a particular outcome in life. That doesn't mean be results-oriented, but it means that you can look at the same thing in a different way, right? A flag, to me, as an Indian, looks different to a flag to someone from Pakistan, for instance. And that's no hate to the Pakistanis, of course, but you're going to have a different understanding to that flag. So the thing is, you got to understand and perceive certain elements and symbols, not just from your own standpoint, but see it for what it is. It's just a flag. To me, or another Indian person, it's not just a flag. It has the whole history behind it and all the storyline behind it. But objectively, if we can look at the object itself, we can see it for what it is, and it's just a flag, okay? So that's a really vague example, but I kind of want you to understand to suspend your judgment based on things, okay? Suspend your judgment. So the thing is, look, I have a pro here coming to join this video stream as well. All right, he's leaving now. Suspending your judgment, meaning like you don't know about that person, right? If we judge someone based on their weight, let's say, for instance, it's just a number, right? Their weight is just a number, but we see them visually and we think their weight means that they're lazy or whatever, right? It's like, no, that might not be true. They might have some kind of a, disorder that makes them that way. They might have hypothyroidism, right? They might have so many issues aligned. They might have depression. They might have so many things that prevent them. They might have had an injury for a long time, so they gained a bit of weight. Right? There could be so many things explaining that person's weight gain. And it doesn't mean that we can make that judgment just based on looking at them. We have to suspend that judgment and not judge the book by the cover, but instead look at the storyline, the interpretations that we're giving that story. So I'll give you an example, right? If someone takes a bath really quickly, right? They want to save water, and so they just take it in 4 seconds, and then they come out being like dirty and stuff. It's like, we can say that to them, hey, you took a bath really quickly, okay? That's suspending judgment. Now, not suspending judgment would be, hey man, you took a bath really quickly, dirty fool. What the hell are you doing taking a bath like that, you dirty pig? Man, spend more time in the shower, man. Clean behind your ears. What is wrong with you, right? That's judgment. Suspending judgment would be to see the thing objectively. Hey, you're taking really quickly in the shower, and you're just pointing it out to them. And they can choose what to do with that information. It's not for you to decide what for them to do. Right? You can't impose your reality on someone else and decide like that. It's like they're going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. You can have some say in it, but it's still up to them, right? So that's kind of what I mean by suspending judgment. The other thing is, it's not about being emotionless, right? It's not this toxic masculine thing that culture is being portrayed as. I think that's ridiculous if you're thinking that a philosophy is, toxic. I think that people and their interpretations make it toxic. Like, I love the idea of character, building your character, learning from perspective, having a cause and effect, stimulus response approach, which is kind of very scientific in a way. Applied wisdom, these are the virtues, the four virtues, cardinal virtues of Stoicism, which I love because I'll bring up another philosophy that I really believe in, which is Taoism, and another one which also goes by four noble cardinal virtues, and four is my lucky number. So powerful that these are also four, because it reminds me of, like, okay, four, yeah, four cardinal symbols, four rules, even in my essentially four, right? So applied wisdom, like wisdom, but then in practice, right? Just wisdom up here is not going to do anything with it. Wisdom in practice is like learning about, sodium bicarbonate being salt or whatever, and then doing something with that information. If you just learn it, it's like, what do you? Okay, fine. Right? But if you use it to win a trivia night, right? Then you're like using it, right? It's applied, right? You're using your wisdom, you're using your knowledge. Second thing is courage. Okay, a lot of us get scared, and a lot of us let fear rule us. Notice that the word courage has the word rage in it. So if you can make your rage courage, that's such a powerful thing that you can do, right? Third thing, justice, fairness, and kindness to others. Being kind over being correct. This is also the same thing in Taoism that they believe, right? Being kind over being correct. We always want to be right. And that's where the ego comes in. It's like the ego wants to be right all the time. But actually, it's coming from an armoring and an insecurity, right? So a lot of people, they feel like, oh, confidence is being egotistical. No, it's not. It's nothing to do with that. It's quite actually the opposite of confidence, is being egotistical, all right? Because egotism comes from an insecurity. It doesn't come from a core confidence, right? Real confidence comes from the internal world, not the external world. So of course you can value the things that you've done and the things you've accomplished, but that's in the past, right? Understand that. And the final one being temperance, right? Keeping calmness, being composed, being cool in certain situations, which is not always easy to do, especially if you're a hypersensitive individual. So how can you practice some ways in doing this? Try to learn to not absorb, but to observe. It's very simple. It's, again, easier said than done, but you want to practice doing that. The person who's telling you their heterosuggestion, their reality, it's just their reality. It is a truth. It is not the truth. Again, looking at things with logic. Then again, it's like this thing of amor fati, right? I love my fate. I love my fate. Whatever happens to me, it happens to me. But let me show you my response to that. Let me put myself out there. It's my turn now, right? I put my best foot forward. And I said must, not should. I should put my best foot forward. It's still what society wants from me. I must is now talking about my foundation, my philosophy, my understanding of this must. Success is the only option. Let's go. Not I should, but I must. And I think that this is such a powerful mentality to come with and really start to understand. And I know I've just scratched the surface with this video, kind of talking about this, but I really love this kind of philosophy, and I'm going to go much more in depth about it and learn about it a little bit more. But yeah, this is my understanding of it. It's so powerful, and it's so unique of a philosophy, and I feel like now is the time more than ever that we really start to embody and bring that philosophy alive, and start living from a routine and a discipline, waking up early, having discipline throughout the day, doing what is done. The deed, or the dharma, is accomplished by the end, and it feels good to do so. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you, and stay legendary.